Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Low Calorie Cooking Basics. This is the show where I teach you the tools, tricks, and tips that I've learned over the years for how to cook in the kitchen on a calorie budget. This week, we're not necessarily going to be cooking, but we're going to be taking a look at portion sizes. I brought out a few more popular offenders for really calorie-dense foods with very misleading portion sizes, so I thought I'd just kind of go through them one by one and show you what an actual portion size looks like. So first up, we're going to go with these chips here. One serving is going to be 28 grams. So let's just see what 28 grams looks like. So that's 28 grams. As you can see, it's about half, maybe a quarter as much as a lot of people would probably put on their plate if they were going to have a sandwich or something. To be honest, if I were to guess, I would have probably assumed, somewhere around there was going to be a serving. So that's 48 grams, practically double where we are with the actual weight tracking. Number two, olive oil. Any oil or fat is always going to be very, very calorie dense. 15 milliliters or 1 tablespoon is going to be 120 calories. You see in a recipe a tablespoon of oil and people might just splash a little bit in there, but literally one splash can be 100 calories. So that is our portion size right there. That's it, that one little baby spoon. All of these little inaccuracies can really add up and be an extra 300, 400, 500 calories onto your day, and stuff like this is the case a lot of times. Going with one of my favorites, honey roasted peanuts or dry roasted peanuts. Nuts, just because of the fat content, again, just like the olive oil, are going to be really high in calories. Portion size is not what you'd expect. So we are again at 28 grams for a portion. So I'm going to measure out 28 grams here. This is less than a handful, practically. Now, if you have a few handfuls of nuts and you think, oh, it's a couple of servings, I'll make sure and track it that way. A few grams and you're 100 calories off. So it's just really important to make sure that you're checking that. So I'm going with a little bit of a fun one here, and it is ice cream. Now this is a little bit of a lower calorie ice cream. It's the Enlightened brand. Ice cream in general, a half cup serving of ice cream is far less than most of us eat. It looks like one serving is gonna be 70 grams. So I'm just gonna portion this out here. This is not a sponsor, by the way, but if you guys have tried this Enlightened ice cream before, it's so good. But as you can see, very measly portion when you're thinking of a bowl of ice cream. Most people aren't realizing that this is their serving of ice cream. So, all right, so next up we've got cereal. We've got 33 grams here for a serving at 130 calories. So let me just measure this. So because this is puffed, you actually get a little bit more food volume. All of these are typically a lot less, but I'd say for a single serving, that's a little bit more than I was expecting, to be honest. But if you are having cereal, get something puffed or get something a little bit airier. You're gonna get a little bit more food volume. And last, but definitely not least, we've got peanut butter. Anything that's gonna be mostly or all fat is going to be very, very high in calories. If anyone hasn't done this before, I made a whole video about it. If you're weighing something like peanut butter and trying to track it, super difficult to add into a container. But if you zero out your peanut butter jar and then scoop, it makes things much, much easier. So I'm just gonna scoop this out. We need 32 grams as a serving of peanut butter. And see, look, this is the perfect example. Even my trained eye, I just took out 48 grams without even thinking about it. And this is someone that has tracked 32 grams of peanut butter over and over and over again. So as you can see, it's very easy to make those mistakes. That happy accident with the peanut butter is exactly the point of why I wanted to make this video. That was an 80 calorie mistake right there. So you had some chips with your sandwich and it was all tracked and it's all fit in your day, and so that's totally cool. But say you had that original portion that was probably 2 times this, or say you had a big bowl of ice cream versus a legitimate serving, but you only tracked the serving, 80 calories here, 100 calories there, 40 calories there. All of these little things can add up and really have a big impact. So the moral of the story, use a food scale. I don't think I can make enough videos about why it is so important to always use a food scale and why it's so important to track your food. That is gonna wrap up this week's episode of Low Calorie Cooking Basics. I hope you all enjoyed it. Be sure to like the video down below if you do, and leave a comment for me down below. Do you use a scale already? Are you strong enough to admit those of you that aren't? Let me know down below if you're not using a scale and if there's any particular reason as to why. Let's get that discussion going. I think that'd be great. But until next time, I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good one.